I say, boss, people are not happy. I never see that at United. And he told me, Patrice, you're doing great. This is not my player. I'm going to bring my own player. He never see the Christmas tree. They sacked him before that. So he didn't. Actually, I try my best.
Patrice Evra was a fantastic left-back, arguably the best left-back in the world at the time. But on top of that, he's a funny guy. And in this clip, he gives his hilarious, savage, but overall fair assessment of David Moyes' time at Man United. But what sticks out the most is that he holds the players accountable too for the club's downfall post Sir Alex Ferguson. But stick around after the clip because I will be explaining exactly what David Moyes could have done to have kept his job for a lot longer than he eventually did without signing any new players. But here's Patrice.
What was your view of what happened when the boss left and David Moyes came in?
I was disappointed about many people because no matter for myself.
In the dressing room?
Yes. Or? Yeah, they were like many of the players. I won't mention the name. Like, why you protecting him? Why you defending David Moyes? David Moyes, we didn't have like a great relationship like when he signed because remember he was trying to get Leighton Baines and everything without knowing me. Then we start playing. Then he came one day. He said, "Oh, Patrice, I'm sorry about what you read on the paper. You are amazing. You're doing a fantastic job." I said, "Listen to me. This is not the club of my father. If you bring the best fullback or whatever, I will still play. But this is good for United because I love competition." And he was so in shock. He think like I was like upset with him. I said, "So try to bring him because we need like the best player, to play for Man United." Then what's happened with David Moyes is I feel the player. That's when I say to them, I say, "Okay, guys. So we keep blaming David Moyes, but actually we weren't good. We were just afraid of Sir Alex Ferguson." So even for me, if you bring even the chef, I will be behind and fight for him because I'm fighting for the badge and the fan. Actually, you don't fight for the manager. You can have a good relationship with him, but you fight for the badge and the club. So many players, and the big mistake David Moyes did, it was his first page. And he said, "Guys, you know to win. So like help me to winning more trophy." So when he said that, you had like player like Chicharito, a player like didn't play on the Ferguson or whatever, they start complaining. What's this guy's gonna teach us? And he start also at the preseason in Sydney when he said we're gonna do a stretching on the beach. And the security say, "You can't do that. You can't do that. You are Man United." He said, "No, it's fine. I'm always doing it with Everton." After 5 minutes, like 100 fans came, the police came, so already the security started to hating him. And I remember sometime I was looking at him at Old Trafford and he was looking around like, when, wow. Willed it. Yeah. But actually I never had any problem with him and he was like quite stubborn because many times I went to Ferguson house. I said, "Boss, you need to talk with him because many players are not happy." When you were there, even the players weren't playing.
You went to Fergie's house?
They were, many times. What's the problem? You keep saying he's my dad. just because you're jealous. He's just jealous.
I went to Moyes' house, though, really.
No, I never. I
think,
David Moyes.
Obviously, I was there, and I think what happened is Moyes come in, and I had him at Everton, and he weren't the same as Everton. He didn't feel he could have the control which he had at Everton to what he could have at Manchester United. And I think there was a few players in the dressing room who were coming towards the end and found it difficult to make that change with Moyes, and he was always going to struggle.
Yeah, but
I think it was always going to be difficult.
Yeah, but you remember he had the things when he do the starting 11, yes, with his pepper, you start. Then he said the rest, you can go have a cup of tea or playing two touch on the side. But you say that to people like Ryan Giggs, like Ashley Young, or whatever, so they get upset. So I went. I say, "Boss, people are not happy. I never see that at United." And he told me, "Patrice, you're doing great. This is not my player. I'm going to bring my own player." He never see the Christmas tree. They sacked him before that. So he didn't. Actually, I try my best. And that's why after I came, like he called me when he was at West Ham. He said, "We're playing for fighting for the relegation. Patrice, can you help us?" That's when I get suspended, when I kick the fan. So for me, it was perfect, like coming to England. So I have a great relationship with David Moyes. But it's just, sometimes he could have been stubborn. And like Waza say, he was dead. Like coming after Ferguson. It was a job. Come on.
The biggest mistake David Moyes made when coming to Manchester United was thinking he could add something to the club. But the cold hard truth was that he couldn't. Not straight away, anyway. He brought in 2 players that weren't needed in Marouane Fellaini and Juan Mata, an assistant manager that also wasn't needed, and he got rid of crucial staff such as Mike Phelan and Rene Meulenstein, who could have helped him massively in the months and even years to come. In simple terms, he came in with completely the wrong attitude. There was no pressure on David Moyes from the board when he took over. Everyone understood that it was a big step up for him, and Fergie's shoes were big shoes to fill, so no one expected a title win or a Champions League trophy. All he was expected to achieve was a top 4 finish and maybe a little piece of silverware like the League Cup. But what did he do? He put everyone's nose out of joint. He didn't listen to simple, good advice from experienced personnel like the security in this clip, and he didn't respect the senior players enough. These are just some of the mistakes Moyes made that eventually led him to getting the chop, not even a year into his ridiculous 6-year contract. I start to feel sorry for David Moyes sometimes, but when I think about the simple task he needed to complete but failed, that sympathy just vanishes. All he had to do to complete his season objectives was turn up, change nothing, and observe. That's it. Manchester United were the Premier League champions at the time. By a million miles as well. They'd walked the title the year before, so it was a finely tuned machine. He could have set up a team meeting with all the players and simply said, right, you guys are the reigning Premier League champions. I've heard so much about all of you from Sir Alex. He has told me how good you are and how insanely professional you are, and I can't wait to see you all in action. So show me what you got. End of meeting. By doing this, he's laid down the challenge and put the onus and responsibility on the players to perform in a congratulatory, complimentary manner. And if the players were as competitive as we all know that they would have responded positively. Then he should have made a concerted effort to get to know the senior players like Giggsy, Rio, Vidic, and get them on side, because they would have ran the dressing room. Then he should have instructed Meulenstein and Phelan, who he obviously should have retained, to carry on coaching as normal. Then the real work begins for Moyes, because changing nothing would have bought him much needed time to observe. The momentum from the season before would have carried him to a top 4 finish at least, and he could have used the first 12 months to get to know the players, the staff, the club as a whole, and plan for future signings once he understands what the team actually needs, moulding the team and the club in his image slowly over time. That's all he had to do. Sit back, observe and learn. That would have at least bought him 1 more season. But he didn't, and he got sacked. End of story. But what can you do? Anyway, what do you guys think? Did he deserve more time? What do you guys think he could have done differently? Thoughts in the comments. But if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe.